Once again, thank you for coming so that you can give a slight or a brief update on the evacuation of Kenyans from Lebanon. As you are aware, we were in Parliament this morning and we submitted an update to the parliamentary committee, that is the Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Affairs departmental committees. But we thought that this is a matter that is also so important and we might as well again share this information with you. So basically today, that is 17th of October, we wish to just point out the following aspects. And for any granular details, I have the PS for Diaspora Affairs, Madam Roslyn Jogu, should be available for any other detail that may be required. So the first thing I want us to point out is that the government of Kenya is expediting the evacuation of Kenyans from Lebanon, which, as you all know, is experiencing an unprecedented humanitarian crisis due to the escalating conflict in the region. This follows months of sustained calls to Kenyans in Lebanon to voluntarily register themselves if they wish to be evacuated. I am emphasizing this because we sent out an appeal severally for them to be registered, but Kenyans can be very interesting. They were not forthcoming. I think they were hoping to wait it out so that on the assumption that the situation would subside and they would continue to be there. So we initially registered a very low level of registration of Kenyans in Lebanon, and we estimate that they're about 26,000. However, following the escalation, the government now has received a registration of 7,119 Kenyans who have now come forward to register so that they can be assisted in one way or the other to get back home. It's possible, and we believe that we may see more, because now this is the reaction after the initial silence. We are expecting a fourth and fifth batch of Kenyans to be evacuated from Lebanon to arrive in Kenya this weekend. This evacuation process, ladies and gentlemen, has proven to be slow and cumbersome due to stringent clearance requirements from the Lebanese authorities and limited flight options, with only one airline currently operating flights into Beirut. So basically, the airspace is not safe in that area, and therefore the options are very limited. And when we talk of a fourth and fifth batch, it depends on how many seats we are able to get at any one time for them to come. So it may be in lots of 10, in lots of 20, perhaps up to 30 if we are lucky. Remember, we are competing also with other nations that are also undertaking a similar exercise for their nationals in that area. So it's going to be likely a long drawn-out undertaking. To expedite this process, a multi-agency team from Kenya, joined by officials from our embassy in Kuwait, have been dispatched to assist the Honorary Council to coordinate the activities. The government is also aware of the potential for a larger conflict in the Middle East and has requested all Kenyans Kenyan ambassadors in the region to conduct a swift registration exercise of Kenyans in their jurisdiction. This initiative aims to ascertain the number of Kenyans in those countries because many do not go through regular channels and they do not register with our nearest mission required. Now, this is one of the dilemmas. Kenyans go, but they don't indicate where they're going. They use their own channels, and sometimes we have to really fish for them to come forward. So these are some of the challenges, and this is where I'll really request members of the Fourth Estate to help us. At this stage, we would also like to discourage Kenyans from traveling to countries that are experiencing this conflict or turmoil. They should not gamble. It's not a game out there. If there's a conflict and we know it, you are educating Kenyans through your media outlets. They should be cautious and not make trips to these areas until the situation has completely calmed down, because they could land into difficulty. I also wish to assure you that the government of Kenya shall remain closely appraised of the development in the Middle East and is committed to protecting citizens across the world. And finally, just to reiterate that there is a committee here which is seized with this matter so that we are monitoring on a regular basis. The Treasury has committed to support through an initial 100 million Kenya shillings to assist in this exercise. We are also trying to look at other means that could be deployed. It's a very expensive undertaking, risky. When you talk of some of the people in aviation or in shipping, they tell you that it's now very expensive because the marine insurance or the air cover insurance to allow them to go into these areas is very prohibitive. So it's a fairly complex situation. But I just want to say that we will do our best within our means to continue giving support to our Kenyans, and hopefully we shall not suffer any casualties.
My name is Lukawich from the Star. I just wanted to know, like, this 7,000 who have registered, how much does it take to bring them home? I also understand Treasury has committed 100 million. And then two, now that the airlines depend on the space available in that one flight from Kuwait, what is your estimation, the length of time to bring the 7,000 home?
As I said, it's a protracted issue. It could take a long time, and that's why I said we are looking at other means. And I did indicate that we are also considering the possibility of evacuation by sea, so that you can get people to be sailed to a different destination, and then from there you make arrangements. So we are looking at different options. You know, when the risks are high, the tickets will be high, more costly, because the aviation or the airlines will charge a premium to be able to get the people out. So obviously, it will be a very expensive exercise. I cannot give you an exact figure at this stage, but we definitely pray and hope that there can be an immediate cessation of the conflict. That would be the best outcome. Then we would not have to go through this particular tension.